So, what do you think? Halifax, Toronto, pros, cons? I'll be right back with them. Hey Halifax, Brenda K here with the Halifax Home Selling Group and the sweet Miss Frankie. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have some company with us today, which I love to have company in when I'm doing my videos. So the reason that we compare Toronto and Halifax so much, that when we get relocation coming down, we get a lot. They're Ontario. They're between the corporate offices and the military post in Ontario. That is the largest input. So people tend to compare Halifax and Toronto. So I would say one of the first pro for Halifax definitely would be the house prices. So right now the average house price in Halifax is $644,000, which to us, that's insane. It is insane. But the average home price in Toronto, $1.3 million. Well, $1,380,000. So it's almost $1.4 million. That is insane. So young people like yourself, you're trying to get in the housing market would just be crazy there. So another pro with Halifax is the lifestyle. We're relaxed, we're friendly. The pace of life is just not the same. The traffic. I love the traffic in Toronto. I'm lying, I hate the traffic in Toronto. Our traffic is not, I traveled back and forth to Ontario for many years in my last job, and I used to complain, if anyone remembers the Micmac Rotary, I used to complain about all the traffic when I had to sit there. When I started traveling to Toronto, I'm talking people taking 2 hours to get home from work. That's crazy, to work and back. That's adding like 4 hours to your day. One of the other things that I really like about Halifax is you can get some really nice large residential lots that are like 20 minutes from the city. I remember driving to Ontario and you'd almost have to drive 2 hours to get to a lot that was as big as mine. So what are the pros of living in Toronto? Well, there is more going on. It's livelier. Like if you like concerts and pro sports and all those venues, you're going to get them living in Toronto. We talked about the real estate prices. $1,380,000. People that have been in their houses, we've had a few, people that have settled here and their mother comes. And literally, like I had a client and his mom's house was the tiniest little house on the street, the last one that hadn't been touched. They paid her $1.1 million for it and they ripped it down. So you definitely, and she's been in there like 52 years. So, she didn't pay very much for that home and didn't do a lot, just lived in it as many people do. So, and also for shopping, the shopping here in Halifax, we don't have the high end. Some people would consider that a con. Myself, I don't necessarily because I don't shop in those high-end stores. I've walked past Louis Vuitton in Toronto, but I've never gone in it. So people that want the big shopping, it's in Toronto. And we used to go there every 1-2 years when we were younger, and that's exactly what we did, is we would go up there to do some shopping. So some of the cons to living in Halifax, and this really resonated with me again on my last job, because to service the area here, whether it's Nova Scotia, Halifax, or anywhere in the province, nobody puts their corporate offices in Halifax. Everybody puts their corporate offices in Toronto. So like myself, when I was selling a commodity superstore in my past life, and every time I wanted to present something or do something, I had to fly to Toronto. And it wasn't as electronic as it is now, because I'm going back like 25 years. And that was literally getting on the plane, going, meeting, So that is a con to Halifax. The big venues, that definitely is a con to Halifax. We are starting now, our population is growing for many, many years. We were hovering around 950,000. We've actually hit over 1 million for the first time. So Halifax can't draw the crowds that Toronto can with the pieces, or with the performances and the sports. Well, how long have we been trying to get a football team? And for some people, the lack of designer outlets, the lack of that shopping, and the lack of the fast-paced life. Some people like that. They head up here, they go to Toronto, and they say they're never coming back. I don't understand it, but my parents were originally from Ontario. Military put them back here, and you'd never get them out. My dad passed away now, but my mom, you'd never move her. So the cons to living in Toronto The people are not as friendly. You have traffic congestion, and when I say, well, now we know Bray's 50 minutes from me, but when I say traffic congestion, I'm talking about your 2 hours sitting in traffic. That's definitely a con. And just the attitude of people, like I said, the attitude, the friendliness, even when we go up there on vacation, here, I can't think of ever walking down a street that you couldn't talk to somebody.
Yeah, say good morning or something like that.
Have a conversation. Yeah. Crazy. And the cost of real estate. Someone young like yourself, Bray, you'll never, you'd pay $1 million. I would never own a home. I would never have bought my first home. So real estate in Toronto is really, really tough to get into the market. Let's talk about the taxes, Halifax versus Toronto. So I took Nova Scotia, and of course all cities have different rates that they apply to you. So I took the 60,000 to 93,000 tax bracket in Nova Scotia, 16.67%. In Toronto, they break it down from that category from 55,000 to 100,000. 26%. 26. So Halifax is definitely getting it on the pro side of the taxes, and Toronto is getting the con side, no question. Heating systems, a lot that we hear of in the real estate here, because people will come down. Natural gas has been in Ontario for so long. Back in the late 70s, we went home, and my grandfather had this great big black thing on his patio, and he had it hooked up, and he was like, it was a barbecue, and literally it was like, it could have been a spaceship. So that's how long it's been there. So when people come down here, they're looking for the natural gas. It's I would say a cleaner type of energy, and it's also less money than oil. Down here, you're gonna get oil or electric heat. And then you've got concerns when you're doing oil with your insurance. So that definitely, I'm gonna say that's a con. I would rather have all natural gas. Well, if you found value in this video, and if you have a comment, are you pro Toronto, pro Halifax? I'd love to hear from you. And again, I'm Brenda K with the Halifax Home Selling Group. This is the Sweet Miss Frankie, and we will see you next week. Cheers.